A Commanders player has asked to be released from the team. Brandon Aiyuk looks increasingly likely to be on his way to the East Coast, and Dan Quinn speaks about his expectations for the rest of the season. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Full Command Show. My name is Grant Mitchell, back with you on a Thursday afternoon to talk about what's going on in the world of the Washington Commanders. Like I mentioned, some news involving player transactions, more updates from Brandon Aiyuk, and breaking down what Dan Quinn had to say at his Wednesday press conference yesterday. Guys, we do have some news that I need to share with you guys before the weekend of uncertainty. There's a chance Jayden Daniels comes back. There's a chance that he doesn't. We were 1.5 point favorites earlier in the week. Now we're 2-point underdogs. That's in the future. We're here to talk about what we know today and the information we have available to us. So as always, I'm about to share that with you. But before I do, make sure you guys hit that like button as the number one way you can support me. And hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. Link to join the Full Command Discord at the top of the description as always. So let's start with a very quick one. Noah Brown is expected to make his return to the field on Sunday afternoon. DQ said he was very, very, very optimistic that he would be playing. This would be Noah's first game since week 2. Dating back to last season, he has played in 2 of the last 19 possible games. His final game last year was the Titans game right before the bye week, missed the rest of the regular season and the entire playoff run. Comes back, plays against the Giants, plays a little bit of the Packers game, and then he is out. Noah Brown is officially the mystery man in DC, but it does seem like he'll be back on the field, which means we will get to see the Terry McLaurin, Noah Brown, Deebo Samuel trio really at full strength for the first time this season. If you could even count this as full strength. Really, we honestly haven't seen them at full strength this entire year. And they're going to need to stay healthy for another 2 to 3 weeks for us to maybe get a glimpse of that. Anyway, Noah Brown, welcome back. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood. Famous last words involving Noah Brown. Let's talk about the player who has asked for a release. Any guesses on who it might be? It's a newcomer, a real newcomer, Darnell Savage. According to Houston reporter Aaron Wilson, he said that Savage has officially requested a release from the Washington Commanders. Washington is expected to grant it. He signed for us, I'm trying to think back now, probably a month or so into the season. He played in 8 games, had 15 tackles, 1 forced fumble. Former first-round pick, Darnell Savage, came over from the Jaguars, and it appears that he wants to be moving on to greener pastures. Darnell, I guess thanks for coming by and enjoying the layover, and good luck to you wherever you might end up, assuming that your request is granted. Okay, let's talk about the fun stuff. Let's talk about Brandon Aiyuk. It is growing increasingly likely that Brandon Aiyuk will not be playing football for the San Francisco 49ers in the future again. Seems like he's taking his last snap there. Got a quote here from John Lynch, of course, the 49ers GM, who said that they are trying to find a middle ground with Aiyuk. Here's what he said, quote, "I don't necessarily know that the reporting was an inflection point, but I think the entire time it hadn't been great. And so you do your best to rectify those things, and everyone's got to be professionals and conduct themselves in that manner. And so that's how we treat all of our players." Okay, so that's kind of ambiguous. That's kind of vague, but let me apply some context and let's talk about what this means. So when he's talking about the reporting and the inflection point, have to assume that he's talking about the news that broke that Aiyuk doesn't want to be there, the team's done with him, blah, 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 blah. If you remember, maybe a week or 2 ago, I went through a whole timeline by the 49ers reporter, Grant Cohen. He laid out everything. Essentially, Kyle Shanahan still wants Aiyuk on the team, but Aiyuk is frustrated, and there have been some incidents, and ultimately it's gotten to a spot where the relationship has soured. He says that everybody's got to act professional, that John Lynch said everybody's got to act professional. Apparently, Aiyuk has not been showing up to certain team events. He's kind of hinted that his representation might not be handling this professionally, and it's kind of going to be a my way or the highway sort of deal. And when it's that case, players almost always get it. We're in an era of player empowerment. So I can understand why the front office would be upset by that. And I don't really know what Aiyuk's gripe is with the 49ers. It could be valid as well, but that's not public-facing information. It's easy for us to see why the 49ers would be frustrated with him. Don't entirely know why Aiyuk could be frustrated with the Niners, especially since they just paid him his money right before he got injured. So there are reports out there that Aiyuk has skipped rehab sessions. He's been absent from team activities. There's a video of Kyle Shanahan chewing him out for wearing the wrong colored shorts to practice. It's It all culminated in the Niners voiding his guaranteed money, which is also something that I've talked about on this channel before. 49ers voided the money that it was guaranteed in his contract, and he did not contest it, which essentially means, screw you guys, I don't want to be here, so I'm not gonna fight you for the money, because ultimately we are headed for a separation, and that's what I want. And to me, to have signed a 4-year, $30 million deal and to be willing to just write it off and say, that's fine, I don't want to get it back anyway, if that means you're going to let me go somewhere else. He really wants to get out there. That's all that I can make from this information. Now, John Lynch said they are trying to find a middle ground, but I don't know how likely that is. And I don't know what the 49ers are doing with their receivers. I don't know what the relationships, I don't know what they're doing to those relationships, but they have this whole standoff with Debo, and they end up paying him, and then they trade him, of course, to us, and they pay Aiyuk, but he's still frustrated. I don't know what's going on, and I don't know if it is just a diva receiver thing. Now, Aiyuk hasn't played since week 7 of 2024. He's going to miss this entire season. He's been back running routes and stuff like that, but let's be honest, he's not going to play. That's been pretty apparent from his behavior and the way the relationship is going between the two. Aiyuk, I want to look up the exact details of his knee injury as well, because it was a really bad knee injury. So he sustained a major injury in his right knee, tearing both his anterior cruciate ligament, the ACL, and the medial collateral ligament, MCL. So he tore ACL and MCL, which understandably is why it's taken him a long time to return. But I don't know if he could play right now. I have no idea. But I think even if he could, he wouldn't do it for the 49ers, because that's the way his behavior is. That's what his behavior is indicated. So this is from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, who says, quote, he, being Aiyuk, is close with quarterback Jayden Daniels, his former teammate at Arizona State, and general manager Adam Peters, a John Lynch disciple from his time in San Francisco, understands the Aiyuk experience well, ultimately concluding that there is a strong chance that the Commanders display a level of interest in Aiyuk. Now, that does not mean sign him. It just means that they are going to be kicking the tires. Now, Jayden, to my knowledge, hasn't really gotten involved with personnel decisions from the front office, and I don't think he would. Jayden's a pretty unproblematic guy. If they came to him and said, hey, what do you think of Brandon Aiyuk? I think he would volunteer information. I don't think he's going to go to the front office and say, you should do this or you need to do this. It just doesn't seem to be in Jayden's character. But time will tell, and we've got a long offseason ahead. Of course, the Commanders going to be picking early in the first round. They could go after Jordan Tyson. They could go after Darnell Tate. But if they don't, they're probably going to have to sign somebody in free agency. And there's a chance it's someone smaller. There's a chance it's one of these middle guys like Alec Pierce or Romeo Dobbs. Or there's a chance that it's a prove-it deal for a guy like Aiyuk. And I don't even know if Aiyuk would be open to a prove-it deal, because he did just sign a $30 million average annual value contract. Is a guy like that willing to go down that far on a 1-2 year deal for a new team? I just have a hard time believing that. So I don't know how any of this is going to work out, but I also don't know what team is going to be extremely willing. Take the Commanders out of it. I don't know what team. The Broncos need to get their quarterback a receiver. The Patriots have been rumored, even though Drake May is arguably the MVP of the league, they've been rumored to be interested in receivers. I don't know who's out there. The Titans, maybe? The Titans love signing old wide receivers who are maybe a little past their prime or got injury problems, but they've got a rookie quarterback that they've got to help out. So I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know where he's going to end up, but this is the latest update, and I will keep you guys posted on what information reveals itself in the coming days, weeks, and months. So before I get out of here, I wanted to talk about some comments from Dan Quinn at his press conference yesterday, and I felt that they were very timely given what's going on with the whole tank conversations. Do you shut down Jayden? Things of that nature. So DQ was speaking about standards for the team despite being guaranteed to have a losing record, and here's what he said. Quote, it's really important building those habits for everybody who's coming back here knowing this is the standard. This is what we like. It's not the rules. It's standards, and it's not something you follow. This is how we do things, and I think that's a big difference. So when he's really what he's saying here is we're going to have a losing record. We're not going to win the division. I know it's mathematically possible. It's not going to happen. We're not going to make the playoffs, and that's disappointing. That's greatly disappointing given where we were a year ago. And things might not have broke our way on the field. but how we conduct ourselves behind the scenes is not changing. That's what he's saying, okay? We can have debates if that's true or not, but that's what he's saying. And the reason this is so timely is because when we have the conversations about tanking, losing games, it's a slippery slope because we can all admit losing is in the best interest of us moving up the draft board, right? We would rather pick second than eighth because our guy might be gone, or we could get more value in a trade package. We all understand that. Just because that is the case, and because losing would help, if you start intentionally losing, if you bench Jayden Daniels when he's healthy, and that's a whole can of worms. I totally understand that. But I'm giving this to you from DQ's perspective. We sit Jayden Daniels, we shut him down for the year when he is healthy. By the way, keep in mind, look at what Joe Burrow is doing right now. Comes back around the same time. Team has the same record. He comes back. They immediately beat the Ravens 32-14. If you do those things, you're starting to tear at the very fabric that got you to the conference championship game last year. So now let me hit you with this. Think back to the summer when Terry McLaurin was going through all of his contract drama. A lot of people were very critical of him at the time, and as this season really started to unfold, we got into the meat and potatoes of it, and we went on the 3, 4, 5, 6, now 7-game losing streak. A lot of fans are pointing back to Terry and saying, hey, here's where it started. Here's where the culture was frayed. This is where the brotherhood, the continuity was broken. So if that's your perspective, and I'm not here to tell you if you're right or wrong, because the reality is we're not in the locker room. If that's your perspective, then you also have to be willing to acknowledge that doing something like shutting Jayden down, doing something like tanking, losing games on purpose, it's going to have a similar effect because you're going to have veterans on this roster who, if they get taken out, say, hey, why did I just get benched for this young guy? Hey, why are we throwing in the towel prematurely? If you've got guys playing through injuries and Jayden's healthy, they're saying, oh, what? So the quarterback's more important than me? And the reality is, yes, the quarterback is more important than you. But you can't tell that to a player. If you've got a 6-year vet who's got a ankle sprain and a broken finger they're playing through, and the quarterback's fine, they're saying, oh, really? That's how we do things around here. So we pick favorites. It's a slippery slope. That's all I'm saying on this. I totally understand the merits of getting a better draft pick. I want Jayden to be healthy, and the easiest way to ensure he's healthy is to not play him. Get all of that. But this is the flip side of this. This also gives me a reason to believe, in that vein, Jayden's going to be back this season. We're supposed to find out if he's been cleared on Friday. He has not been cleared for contact up to this point. I don't think, even if he is, let's say he's cleared on Friday, I don't think they would turn around and put him out there on Sunday. I would think they would give it at least another week just because that's kind of the way that they seem to do things. So I am fully expecting Mariota to be out there. I know previously I had suggested that I thought Jayden would play on Sunday. Just given the way things have unfolded, I'm not there yet, but I could see him playing the final of the month of the season. And whether he does or doesn't, we are going to break it down on this channel. So guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure that you do hit the like button and the subscribe button as well. Also, want to get you guys' opinions here, and this is really, really important to me. Go to the comment section and just let me know what kind of videos you enjoy the most or what ideas you might have, because we are approaching the playoffs and we're not going to be in the playoffs, and it's going to be a long road until we get back to, we're going to have the draft. We're going to have free agency, of course. We're going to have camp and things like that. But as far as actually getting back on the football field, it's about to be 9 months. So it's a lot of time in between. So just let me know any style of videos, any ideas that you like the most, anything at all. It does help me out. So leave that in the comment section. Guys, I'm going to head out of here. I appreciate y'all joining me. I will catch you in the next one. Have a great day.